and a gaping hole inside that could never be filled, meeting a furious beast head on. He'd never wanted to cry while riding a bull. He'd never worn a suit to ride a bull. It had been a night of many firsts. As he burrowed into himself, searching for everything he wanted to release at the bull, the creature itself seemed to disappear, leaving only himself at 14 years old, reliving a memory he'd thought long processed. "You can change it," he'd screamed, chest puffed, neck straining, spittle flying. "All you have to do is sign this paper. All you ever had to do. And you could end it." He'd been hot and wild and thrumming with so much that he didn't have the words for back then. Rage, confusion, loneliness. He knew the words now. Back then, though, all that had mattered was that he shed the curse of his name. That and the desperate need that his Nana keep the secret that there had been tears in his eyes when he'd asked, no, pleaded, with her to change it. "Can't you see, Picorito?" The hand she had laid on his shoulder had been gentle, and somehow that made it worse. "Your name was her apology. I'm sorry that I couldn't live up to the name you gave me, Mama. Take care of him. Raise him better." His Nana's eyes had been like charcoals in her face, her hair still dark then, though streaked by the long sections of gray that had widened with each year of his adolescence. "Your name and your eyes are the only thing she gave you. They're gifts." But he had not seen them as gifts. Instead, he let out an unholy screech, ripped the stack of papers in his hands in half, and punched a hole through the plaster of their wall. Like now, he wasn't a liar back then, and he wouldn't lie, even in his memory. He'd disappeared again, just for an instant, when hitting the wall. Just like he had on Skid Row the evening he'd almost ruined his life. But only for an instant. Less than an instant. The out-of-body experience lasted just long enough to miss his Nana's gasp at the foot of the stairs, but not long enough to miss her long sigh. Not long enough to miss the way her eyelids fell and her shoulders drooped slightly. She had looked exhausted, worn out. He had finally succeeded in exhausting the inexhaustible. She had only ever looked so tired once before. His throat had closed around stuck tears, the knot of them a salty burn in desperate need of release. He had thought she was going to get rid of him, that he had wrung her dry and she was going to get rid of him. She was going to kick him out on the streets. His mind filled with a reel of the homeless faces he always scanned, searching for a familiar set of eyes. He couldn't live like that. He knew them all, knew they had names and individual backstories, and they knew him, and they knew of him. The proximity and reminder of it was enough to make him panic. Breath escaping him, throat tightening, chest refusing to do the usual thing of expanding and contracting, he had done what any 14-year-old would have done. He had turned around and run into his room. And in the process, he had missed his Nana taking a deep breath, straightening her spine, squaring her shoulders, and recommitting, as she had always done and would continue to do every other time he tested her, until they both made it through. She never did give up, and she never did let Diablo change his name. And because he loved her, he never told her the reasons he wanted to. He never mentioned the target it painted on his back, nor how it gave his teachers an impression of him before he even stepped into their classrooms, nor how it dared other boys to challenge him and girls to chase him, but only in the shadows. He didn't tell her how some of those boys were enraged to the point of violence, or that the girls played games to find out if certain rumors about him were true, but refused every one of his requests to go to dances. Like he'd told her, Sierra wasn't the first but the last in a long line of women.